Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And it's pretty easy to see that people all across the planet are mourning under the rulership of the wicked, who are the biblical Edomites, or so-called white people, the border of wickedness in Malachi chapter 1, verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9, verse 24. Ever since you Edomites came into this little season of your final rulership beginning with the Renaissance, you treated the planet as your own personal trash can. You spray chemtrails into the sky, you pour toxic waste into the oceans, which kill off marine life and cause them to beach themselves on these different shores to try to escape it. You strip mine the environment for its resources. You hunt animals to extinction. You give people GMO foods to eat, which dumb them down and give them cancer. This cell phone and Wi-Fi radiation you push further gives people cancer, and you push detrimental toxic ideologies onto the people, such as democracy, feminism, capitalism, the LGBTQ agenda, socialism, communism, etc., etc. If you Edomites were allowed to rule indefinitely, this entire planet would become an uninhabitable wasteland. But there's a silver lining. We're at the end of your rulership, and the righteous are about to be back in authority. The righteous being the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And while it may seem like we're not righteous right now, when we're ruling in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to have the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai in us. And we're going to rule this planet under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And the people are going to rejoice, because the planet's going to go back to being like the Garden of Eden. It's going to be even better than the Garden of Eden. But now I want to get into an article on activistpost.com to show that the policies you Edomites push cause the people to mourn under your wicked rulership. And there's nothing you can do to make things right, or you can't even do anything right, because you were only created to be the sword of the Most High. So the only thing you can create is death, misery, and destruction. And the title of this article is EPA sued for weakening standards for power plants that dump toxic wastewater in lakes and rivers, which people and animals need to survive. The EPA recently approved using radioactive waste in road construction. Just complete madness. As if that wasn't scary enough, the agency is now being sued for weakening standards for toxic wastewater from power plants. From Children's Health Defense, EPA sued over decision to weaken standards for toxic wastewater from power plants. Heavy metals from coal power plant wastewater cause cancer, reproductive impacts, and lowered IQ among children, and threaten endangered species. The people mourn when the wicked beareth rule. Center for Biological Diversity. 9 conservation groups representing millions of people sued the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, today over its decision to drastically weaken national standards limiting toxic water pollution, including arsenic and selenium, from coal-fired power plants. And only a wicked demon would create an industrialized society that destroys the environment for profit. And only a wicked demon would allow these different corporations as lobbying groups to pay them money to allow them to cut corners to continue their destructive operations. So the EPA or any other Edomite-run government organization is going to do nothing to save you. Today's lawsuit, filed in the District of Columbia Courts of Appeals, challenges the EPA's decision to allow coal-fired power plants to use cheaper, less effective treatment methods for removing toxic chemicals and heavy metals from wastewater before dumping it into rivers and lakes. Toxic heavy metals from coal power plant wastewater cause severe human health problems, including cancer, reproductive impacts, and lowered IQ among children. Dozens of endangered species, including sturgeon, hellbender salamanders, sea turtles, and freshwater mussels, will also be harmed by increased pollution. This absurd step backwards is little more than a gift to the dirty fossil fuels industry at the expense of people's health, endangered wildlife, and water quality. Hannah Connor, a senior attorney at the Center for Biological Diversity, said, "Many power plants could easily adopt affordable technologies that dramatically reduce toxic discharges, but with this rule, the EPA is telling their polluter friends not to bother with these common sense measures." Steam electric power plants are the largest industrial source of toxic water pollution in the U.S., releasing heavy metals like arsenic, lead, mercury, and selenium. These plants also discharge high levels of nutrients, bromide, and other harmful pollutants. Power plant wastewater discharges have damaged aquatic ecosystems, made it unsafe to eat fish from many rivers and streams, contaminated the lakes and rivers where people swim, and increased treatment costs for drinking water systems. And it's not just Edomites in America that are ruining the environment. You Edomites are ruining the environment globally. I did an article last week on how over in Russia, at a Eastern Russian tourist beach spot, there was found an increased level of petroleum products in the water that caused marine life to die and wash up on the shores, and people complained of sore throats, nausea, fevers, and chemical burns. We have won court rulings to clean up toxic coal plants before, and we won't let the progress be undone, said Thomas Seymour, Deputy Managing Attorney for the Coal Program at Earth Justice. This administration's dangerous decision to give coal power industry lobbyists what they want will not stand without a fight. We're working with our partners to stop hundreds of thousands of pounds of pollutants from contaminating sources of drinking water, lakes, rivers, and streams each year. Under the Clean Water Act, coal plants are supposed to be required to use the most modern and effective pollution control technology available before discharging toxic wastewater. Instead, the challenged decision does the opposite, reversing protections established in an Obama-era rule that prohibited power plants from dumping fly ash or bottom ash wastewater into U.S. waters and imposed stringent limits on toxic metals and other pollutants in discharges of sludge from power plants. The Obama-era rule was projected to reduce the amount of toxic heavy metals and other pollutants entering waterways by 1.4 billion pounds a year. The Clean Water Act requires each industry to catch up with the best performers, the plants with the best pollution control technology. This rule does the exact opposite and allows power plants to fall as low as the worst performers in the industry, said Abel Roos, a senior attorney with the Environmental Integrity Project. It won't stand up in court. But at the end of the day, none of this matters, because while the wicked beareth rule, the people will continue to mourn, and the earth will continue to languish. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and that red horse is symbolic for you Edomites, who, as it says in Genesis chapter 25, were born red all over like a hairy garment. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, to cause destructive wars, to ruin the environment, to push toxic ideologies onto the people, etc., etc., and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, your blessing, as pursuant to Genesis chapter 27, the sword which you've taken the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven with. And hey, the spirit of everything on this planet is groaning for the return of the righteous to rulership, the children of Israel, the sons of God. This is Romans chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now, because the wicked are bearing rule. Jump up to verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature, the animals, the sea life, the environment, and even these people out here that may not know who the true children of Israel are, their spirit waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. When the righteous are in authority, the people shall rejoice. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to rule this planet under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and everything is going to go back to being like the Garden of Eden. Now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 14, start at verse 5. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked, the border of wickedness in Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of, the Edomites, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, causing these destructive wars that kill off millions of people, spraying chemtrails into the sky, pouring toxic waste into the ocean, strip mining the lands for their resources, hunting animals to extinction, dropping atomic bombs on people. The list goes on. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, because the righteous are back in authority, ruling this planet in righteousness. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Not only are the different nations of people going to rejoice when the Israelites are back in power and you Edomites are taken out of power, but nature itself is going to rejoice. The oceans, the lands, the skies, you name it, because you're going to no longer be causing harm to them. That's going to be a beautiful day when you Edomites, you wicked demons, are finally taken out of power. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly of Esau, Edoms. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.